how to transform raw data into actionable business insights using Power BI and Azure. Thank you for taking the time out and being here today. CCS Learning Academy is the professional training division of CCS Global Tech, a 22-year-old full-service IT consulting firm. We offer a wide range of innovative technology solutions. My name is Kachel Shalette, and I've been in the technology and professional training sector for the last 10 years. We also have Nicholas Cogliano, Business Development Manager for CCS, and a seasoned business analyst by trade. And we're both your co-hosts for today's very important training. We'll be running a live Q&A at the end of the webinar. So we have enabled our Ask a Question feature, and it's at the bottom of your screen. So if you have any questions, just pop them in there at any time, and we'll get to them at the end. Today, we have a well-respected BI analyst professional and instructor who has extensive experience in business intelligence consulting services from mid-sized to large private sectors. And now for our presenter, Nishant Mishra.
Thanks, Kajal. Hello, everyone. Very good afternoon to all of you. This is Nishant, and I'm going to be the presenter for this webinar. I hope you all are doing well and keeping safe during this pandemic. So let's get started with the quick introduction of mine and what we offer at CCS Learning Academy. So I'm a certified instructor from Microsoft and 10 years of experience in business intelligence. During these years, I have been involved in end-to-end business intelligence lifecycle, assisted various clients across the United States and the United Kingdom to implement various types of data models, ETL frameworks, data visualizations utilizing Microsoft backend and Azure, And currently, I am associated with CCS Global Tech as a BI data engineer, and this webinar is brought to you by CCS Learning Academy, which has a pool of well-qualified instructors on various technologies, various domains, and they have partnership with various states and federal clients throughout the US. So far, they have trained over thousands of professionals who are working into Fortune 500 clients or state or federal clients. So that's pretty much about myself and CCS Learning Academy. So let's get started with the agenda of this webinar. So during this webinar, we'll be discussing about data visualizations, the importance of data visualization in almost every sector, across the globe. How to bridge the gap between huge amount of data, and how can we convert that data into the business insights, and how Power BI and Azure capabilities can help a business, improvise their productivity by taking the decisions at the right time. So that being said, we all know that there are various digital platforms across the globe. They all are operated through apps, cell phone apps, through websites. There are various applications running across the globe. If you take examples, of the e-commerce, online banking, everywhere the data is being generated, right? And in today's world, every I would say every hour or every day, thousands of GBs of data has been produced, right? Now, when you see this bulk volume of data, right, it is nearly impossible to draw conclusion from that huge data set, right? You will be seeing a very big Excel spreadsheet, which is having thousands of rows, maybe a database which has millions or billions of rows, And by looking the data in a columnar fashion, we can't draw the conclusion, what this data is saying, For example, if I talk about the sales process, right, any e-commerce. So if I show you the sales order table or sales order details, you can't understand, whether your sales is going up, whether your sales is going down, or how's your inventory doing, when is your reorder level, how much time you are taking to deliver your products to the consumers, So all these aspects are very critical for any organization, right? So if they don't understand the data, they won't be able to take the business decisions, right? And if you are failing to take the business decisions, ultimately, you are going in a wrong direction, right? So the question here is, how can we basically bridge this gap, right? What options do we have that we can leverage to make sure that we will get the right insights at the right time? Who will do that for us? So the answer to this question is, how to bridge the gap is data visualizations, right? And we all know that how human brain works, right? If I show you something in written format, something in columnar format, and if I showcase some visuals, right? Visual speaks more than the text, right? And this is the basic human tendency, right? So if we draw that data into the visuals, we can have the measures plotted into the required diagrams, and when you present that to the strategic decision makers, they clearly understand, what the data is trying to say, they draw the insights and they take the right decision at the right time. So this is very important for any organization. Now, there could be a question like, how can we go about designing the data visualizations? What options do we have, So the answer to that is, there are a lot of tools in the market from different vendors, but in today's session, we are going to focus on Microsoft Power BI and Microsoft Azure capabilities, right? And these two platforms go, hand in hand. Power BI supports the visualization piece, modeling piece, ETL piece, and Azure provides you the backend support. It helps you store that huge amount of data. It helps you do the ETL frameworks as well, right? So there are, Azure, when I say it's an ocean, right? There are over 600 plus services. And here we are going to talk about data services specifically from Azure, right? So let's understand what is a data visualization first. So we all know that data visualization is nothing but a pictorial representation of your data, right? So when you draw that data into the pictorial representation, your end users, your clients, your customers can easily draw the conclusion, hey, this is my total sales, this is my total profit, this is the profit based on the products, based on the product categories, based on the regions, locations over the period of time. So you can easily draw those conclusions with the help of the data visualization, right? So data visualization is nothing but a combination of various visuals, which will have various measures and KPIs plotted, and it lets you do the slice and dice in. It has various features within Power BI that will let you do the interaction with your reports or dashboards, right? You can use a slicer, you can use a filter, you can use bookmarks, you can use various other features which is available in the Power BI, as a tool, right? And this is the most recent developments, right? Every organization wants to have these functionalities in place when we talk about the enterprise reporting solutions or enterprise reporting applications, right? you know so data visualization in a nutshell, it's an easy way to convey the concepts or the informations in a very universal fashion, where everyone, even a layman can understand what this data is talking about. So why data visualization is important, right? Why we need to have the data visualization, in place. So there are various types of analysis that an organization or a business wants to do, right? The very first pointer is identifying the key areas and hidden patterns, right? So for example, uh, let's continue with the e-commerce example, where the business wants to know what are the reasons behind the downfall of a sales, for XYZ category or XYZ business line. Why there is very less sales, what are the factors responsible for that? So in that case, a good visualization can help you factor those pieces, in one visualization, and you can analyze that. You want to see the occurrences of the various events, right? How many times a given event is happening over the period of time. So if you wanted to carry out the changes over the period of time, if you want to analyze that, again, visualization can help you in a better way, right? Then determining the frequency, so how many times a person is ordering a given product, what is the behavior of a person, right? How many times a given event has been triggered in a given scenario, right? So that can be again explained with the help of the visuals. Then analyzing and associating data and products properly. So when it comes to the marketing, like the sales professionals, they wanted to read the customer buying behaviors. They wanted to analyze what the customer is, customer mood is. What are the pointers which we should focus. Based on that, the customer should go about, go for buying this particular service or a product, right? So in that case, when you wanted to do that kind of analysis, I would say demographic analysis, and then based on that, you can align your products and services. That's where visualizations plays a very crucial role. And finally, making the predictions. So we all know that in today's environment, we all talk about AI, machine learning, NLP, and all that, right? So we have a Power BI, which has got a powerful built-in AI, AI capabilities, where you can leverage those capabilities and do the predictions and do the predictive analysis, right? So these are the few pointers that I highlighted here for the importance of the data visualizations. There are many more. There could be thousands of reasons why an organization wants to go for it, but yeah, these are the common ones. Then next, what is Power BI? Now, I already discussed we can leverage Power BI, but what is Power BI all about, right? What all it offers? What are the different components of a Power BI? So Power BI, this is a name which is being in the market for a couple of years now, right? Before 2015, there was a Excel Power BI. So we used to install different add-ins like Power Pivot, Power View, Power Query, Power Maps within the Excel, and we used to generate the data models, and all the, data analyst or business intelligence analyst, they do the ad hoc analysis using that, right? But in 2015, Microsoft has launched this tool called Power BI, and Power BI basically is a collection of various services that works together, right? So in Power BI, you have a tool called Power BI Desktop. You have Power BI services, you have Power BI gateways, you have Power BI publishers, you have Power BI report servers. So these tools are used for different implementation scenarios, right? So Power BI Desktop is the tool that is used to basically author your reports, right? So pretty much every developer, every analyst across the globe, they will be using Power BI Desktop, to design and implement their reporting applications. So if you have to summarize Power BI in a nutshell, it's a business intelligence service provided by Microsoft, which has got the self-service BI capabilities in it, right? And Power BI Desktop is nothing but a combination of the same four add-ins that we spoke about in Excel. Power Pivot, which is used to basically connect to a variety of sources, create the data models. Then Power Query, which is used to perform data cleansing operations. You can do all the data preps, data wrangling into it. And then Power View, that's a collection of the visuals available, which you can use to plot your measures to the visuals. And finally, you have Power Map. That is again a kind of an extended version of the visuals itself, where you have different types of maps available. So you can graphically represent the data, over the globe, right? So that's the basic introduction to Power BI. When we'll jump onto the demos, we'll discuss about services, gateways, and all that, right? And what is their usage. So with the help of Power BI, you can basically implement data-driven culture within your organization. So every single decision must be based on the data, not just on like thinking or assumptions. So that is very important for any organization to have data-driven culture in place, right? So that is pretty much about it. And let's jump on to the next slide. That is why Power BI. Why do we use Power BI, not any other reporting tool, right? So as I said earlier, Power BI is a self-service BI tool. It has got self-service BI capabilities. So it is a modern reporting tool. It's not a conventional reporting where you have to wait for the developers. They come in and they start creating the models for you. And if you have any source which is out of the box, then they have to again create custom connectors, and bring the data into the reporting tool, and then start doing the reporting piece. So those problems is not there in the Power BI. It's not a conventional reporting tool. It's a modern BI tool which has got this self BI capabilities. So the very first reason why you should go for Power BI is it's very easy to use. A layman can come, install it, and start using it and start generating the reports, right? So to be very honest, you can create basic reports in few clicks within few minutes, right? So that's the first reason. Then it supports wide range of data sources, right? Did you ever imagine, okay, I'll go and bring in all my timeline from Twitter account. I'll go to Facebook, I'll go to XYZ, social media, and bring in all the information to my Power BI and start doing the reports, or any web-based sources, APIs, structured, unstructured. I mean, it has over 100 of connectors, which you can connect within the Power BI and bring in your data within the Power BI engine. And when it comes to data sources, they offers three modes like import, direct queries, and live connect. So depending on your deployment, you can choose the right fit for your scenario. Then you can perform data wrangling operations. This is one of the most important need, for any business decision, right? Because when you bring the data from various platforms, they are not in the given format, the format that you want in your report, right? They are in a different schema structure, and you want to have into a different form, right? So in that case, you need to have some sort of functionalities within a tool that can help you do the ETL for you, that can do the data messaging for you, right? For example, if I'm getting maybe a date column, which has a month, day, and year, right? But the client is interested, I want to have the months and year only, right? So if you go with the conventional reporting tool, you can't do that. You have to come to some modern tool, right? So Power BI has that functionality in it, right? So converting the data types, splitting the columns, creating calculations, creating measures, so all these pieces can be done within the Power BI. Real-time information. So in the previous slide, I said about something called gateways, right? So for example, when the transaction happens, within the system, right? When the transaction has been committed, right? I want to see that information in the reports at the, in the meantime, in the real time, right? So if you talk about the conventional reporting tools, that was pretty much not possible, right? There are some workarounds that people does, but here this is the built-in functionality, So with the help of gateways, you can set up, how frequently your reports data will be refreshed, from the underlying sources. So if you are in a pro capacity, you are in a premium capacity, it depends, like, what is the requirement, and then you can basically configure those to, get the real-time feeds, Easy to collaborate, right? So for example, if you have a team sitting across the globe in different countries, different regions, and they have different modes of access, right? So Power BI is very powerful in collaboration, right? So everything is going to be deployed inside Power BI services, which is the cloud-based service from Microsoft, which is used to host and maintain your reports within the Azure data centers. So using that, you can share these reports, dashboards to n number of users, user groups, and you can embed your reports or visuals to the websites. It could be a public website, it could be a secured website, it could be a SharePoint team site, it could be on premises, it could be cloud hosted. It depends, right? And you can access these reports, within cell phones, within iPads, tablets, desktops, laptops, anything, So this Power BI app, is the one of the highest downloads, in terms of numbers in App Store, right? So it has a full-fledged support for collaborating across teams, sitting across different locations, across different devices, right? AI infused experience. So it uses, AI at the background to help you do any analysis, So for example, if you want to say, I want to analyze, how much discount should I give to this product line to improvise a sale, right? Or how much, what steps should I take to basically improvise a business process, or increase my operations, increase my sales, increase my profit, So that's where you can leverage this AI infused capabilities of Power BI. They offer various visuals like They have decomposition tree. They have key influencers. They have built-in Q&A feature, where you can write plain English queries, questions, and then, it can be, given in a required format or required visuals, right? So they have a built-in capability of that. Then you can increase your business impact with the help of Power BI and Azure Synapse Analytics. So Azure Synapse Analytics is quite a new term in the market, but that is an old implementation from Microsoft. It was called as Azure earlier, but last year, 2019, so I think November or December, they changed the name to Azure Synapse. Now, Azure Synapse is integrated with Power BI. So now if you have a huge volume of data, you can have them stored into the Azure Synapse, right? And then consume it through Power BI. So that is going to be a win-win situation for any organization where if they go with the combo of these two, it's going to be a win-win situation for them, right? And all cost effective, that is the primary concern for any organization, any business, any person, right? So if you go with the pro capacity, it costs you just 9.99 per month. And if you have large number of users, a big organization where the headcount is over 1,000, you can go with the premium capacity. And if you do the costing, the numbers, if I have 1,000 users, I'll be spending 1,000 into 10, right? It's going to be $10,000. And when you go with the premium capacity, it is going to be $5,000 a month, right? So it is going to be again a cost a saving for the organization, right? So these are the various factors that you should consider to go on to Power BI. There could be other factors as well, but yeah, these are the common ones in my mind. Yeah. Now let's talk about the Azure. Why Azure, and how Azure can help you do the analysis on the tips, right? So as we know that Azure is an ocean, right? It offers over 600 services, and some of the common services are compute services, storage services, web app services, disaster recovery services, data services, right? So here we'll talk about the data services and mainly Azure Synapse, right? So when you go with the Azure data services, you can basically do the analysis based on your needs. You can design the framework, or you can do the implementation based on your needs. And when we say these services, we call it as the intelligent database services, right? So they know what is a workload, right? How to report the problems, how to escalate, whom to escalate, when to escalate, by sending the emails, by sending the messages, doing the push notifications, right? And they maintain the overall logs that can help you do the custom analysis, right? So they are pretty much intelligent itself, so they will help you in deciding what needs to be done to make sure that your application is up and running. Second is hyperscaling. So when you are running into the on-premises environment, scalability is one of the biggest issue these days, right? For example, if you're let's talk about Thanksgiving sales, right? Now my application is being hosted on premises, and it is capable of doing maybe 1,000 requests per second, right? But considering the sales, I know that my sales is going to be twice or thrice, 10 times. So in that case, you need to deploy extra hardwares. You need to buy new servers. You need to replicate your application. You need to install the traffic manager or balancers kind of thing, but after 3-4 days, you are back to 1,000 orders, right? So if you see your ROI, what you and what investment you have done, if you compare those, you will be at the losing end, right? So scalability is hard to achieve within the on-premises environment, but when you are in the cloud, on just 2 clicks, your system is scaled up, right? And once the job is done, just simply scale down, right? So you will be using what you're using, right? You will be paying for what you're using. Then we have put built-in intelligence to work for you. This is mainly into the monitoring and alerting system, right? So if there are some problems, that will send you the alerts. And then overall costing will be reduced, and it will definitely boost your productivity, right? And when it comes to the combination of the Power BI and Azure Synapse together, what happens is Power BI tries to find out the pattern, what kind of analysis the user is mainly doing, or frequently doing, what kind of conditions they're providing for slicing or dicing the data, right? So these patterns are collected, and it is given to the Azure Synapse, and Synapse takes those factors and try to create a view for that, right? Maybe data is coming from various tables, but since you have view in place, you are going to query the view, and these are materialized. These are physical views, right? So your overall seek and latency time is going to be very less when you have these materialized views in place. So that actually bump up the overall performance, right? So these are the few factors for the Azure. Now, here we have a report published by Gartner that talks about the Magic Quadrant for analytics and business intelligence. So if you see here in the top right in this quadrant, we have Microsoft, and we're talking about here Power BI and Azure Synapse together, right? And they are the leader in the market. Tableau is following Microsoft. They have been acquired by Salesforce, so they have some they have some higher sales these days. But yes, still Microsoft is leading the industry, in terms of analytics. So that is the report from Gartner. And then let's do a quick demo because demo is very important to understand how it looks. So let me first quickly launch Power BI Desktop. So this is the Power BI Desktop UI that is going to be used by the developers, analysts, or anyone to basically create and author the reports. So as I said, it offers hundreds of connectors, right? It would be structured, unstructured, or web-based, cloud-based. So if you see, we have different files: Excel, CSV, XML, JSON, databases, from Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, IBM, Netza, Sybase, different flavors available. Then if you have any existing data sets, existing data flows in Power BI, you have common data services that is being used in the Microsoft Power Automate or Power Apps. You can also consume that. Then they have a whole list of Azure as well, where you have Azure databases, data warehouses, analysis services, PostgreSQL, blob storages, and all. Then you have a list of whole online services available here, from SharePoint, Exchange, Dynamics, Salesforce, Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, so many of them are available here. And then we have others where you can talk to the web, online data feeds, Active Directories, Exchange servers, Hadoop, Spark, Hive, R script, Python script, So they have well qualified connectors here that can be used for the production deployments. Few of them are in the beta releases. They should be available for the production in the coming time, right? So you can use any of the connectors here. So I have already bring in some information from Excel and SQL here, just to cut down the timings to load the data. So I have connected to Excel and SQL Server, and I bought few tables, few dimensions and facts, and a sheet from the Excel, right? And these sources you can connect using direct queries, import, and live connect, depending on the deployment. So the very first pane here is called as a reporting pane, where we can draw these visuals. Second is the data pane. Here we can see our data, right? And the third and most important is the relationship or modeling pane, right? So here, if you see, this is an Excel sheet, and these all are coming from the relational database, right? So here you can basically manage the relationship. You can create the hierarchies. You can define what should be the cardinalities. You can define the cross-filtration, So all these things can be managed within the modeling pane. And if you have the composite model, you can also define, what is going to be, which type of model you are going to use, right? So these pieces we can always do here. Then when you go to transform data, that basically takes you to the Power Query editor. And this is the UI where you will be doing all your calculations, right? All your data wrangling operations. So if you see here, we have transform ribbon here, where you can change the data types, you can transpose, you can count, pivot, unpivot, you can split, you can extract, parse, you can apply the statistical functions, you can run a script against this data set, right? All these pieces can be done, and whatever steps you are applying, these all will be logged here. So if you realize, okay, something is wrong, I shouldn't be doing that step, you can always just delete that step. So you will be back to square one, right? So all these pieces can be done either using this ribbon options here, or there is an option called advanced editor. So here you can use M code, that is called as a mashup code. That is the language supported by Power Query, So if you don't want to go with the ribbon, you are good at this coding piece, you can always use this. For example, if you see here, the very first thing I did was source, right? So here it shows me source equals to excel.workbook, file.contents, the location, and the file name, right? So every single operation that you will be doing here in the Power Query editor, every single statement will be logged here, right? Then once you're done with your changes, you can always come here and I'll say close and apply. So whatever changes you made, they all will be applied, right? So let's draw some quick visuals here. For example, let's suppose I want to analyze what is my sales based on the product, right? So the moment you say, it will automatically picks up what could be the right visual for it, right? So you can choose that, okay? Then I was talking about some AI infused analysis, right? For example, if I say decomposition tree, right? Now I want to analyze maybe my profit based on various dimensions. Whenever you have a need to do the aggregated analysis based on various conditions, you can always use this decomposition tree. So for example, I want to say, I want to analyze profit, based on the time period. For example, I'll say um, year, quarter, and then I'll say maybe I wanted to have the segments as well, and I want to have the products for each segment, right? So now we have these two mandatory stuff here: analyze, what to analyze, and explain by what, right? So I'll see profit here. This is my aggregated profit for all the years available in the data set, for all the quarters, all the segments, and all the all the products in it, right? So when I expand it, I'll showcase here. So now it shows me information based on the year, right? So for 2013, I have got this much of profit. For 14, this much of profit, right? When we say go further for the quarter, it shows me that. Now, let's suppose if I say I want to go for segment for, so it shows me for quarter 3, channel partners segment has got this much of profit, right? And here in the enterprise, we have seen some downfall, right, in the sales or in the profit, right? So this is how you can basically do all these analysis, very easily on your fingertips, right? Now, for example, now you forgot to add some visual, there is no visual for that, and you still, like, your end user wanted to do some sort of analysis, right? So you can always double click anywhere in the canvas, it will automatically add the Q&A for you, right? So for example, if I say here profit by product, sorry, profit by product, right? So it shows me the profit by product, right? I'll say product in pie chart. So it shows that into the pie chart, right? And well, there are a lot more things to do here. We can add filters here. We can add slicers, Then if you go for the options here, we have got bookmarks. We have got the performance analyzer, you can also configure the securities here. We have various options for securities. And once you're done with this report authoring, the time to publish, it's time to publish. So you can always click on the publish button here. I'm already signed into my Power BI Services account. You need to have one in order to do that step. So I'll first save this. I'll say PBI Web 1. I saved it, and then it will pop up, that publish option, and it will ask me where to publish it, right? So I'll say save. Just give me a moment. I think it's not popping up. Something is wrong here. It's hanged. Give me a moment, guys. Bear with me. anyways, I'll just jump onto the Power BI services. It is taking some time, because of my laptop issue or something. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the Power BI services stuff, right? So when you log in, to Power BI services, this is gonna be your UI, right? I'm gonna show you my default workspace here. So I have already deployed a lot of reports in the past, right? So I'm gonna pull up any report. For example, if I say sales report, right? So here, when you log into the Power BI services, you go to your workspace, you define what workspace you want to deploy your reports or dashboards. So once you go into that, you can navigate to the required workspace and go to the contents, look for your report, right? And open the report, right? Now, when you see the report here, we have an option called share, right? So when I go here, I'll go ahead simply and share it with the recipients. For example, if I want to share with, let's suppose, Kajal, right? So I'll say Kajal, share, right? Now she will get an email, and when she log into Power BI services, she should be able to see that report, right? If you want to subscribe these reports, like based on some time frame, okay, I wanna basically create a subscription for XYZ users, on a given time frame. So we can always go for designing the subscriptions, right? You can always embed your reports to the teams, right? These days, we all are collaborating using teams across, the different teams in the organization or within the teams. So we can always share our reports on the teams as well. Then when it comes to the uh, you know, uh, refreshing your reports, right? So we have an option called gateways here. So when we go to the manage gateways, so in the gateways, you can always configure those data sets, right? And these gateways will go and talk to the source at the runtime and refresh your data, and at a given schedule, right? Then one cool feature which I, see from Power BI is, the usage matrices plus quick insights for, so for example, if I talk about a report, right? For example, if I go here and I'll say get me quick insights, I don't have any visuals, I don't have any reports, so it will take few minutes to help you, with the quick insights, right? So give me a moment. So it will take few minutes, okay, and then it will generate the quick insights for me. I think my browser is getting me a problem, something is being cached here. So I can jump onto Edge real quick.
Nishant, as we wait
Mm-hmm.
to
Uh-huh.
for it to pull up, could you give us and everybody here the analysis of what you think is the difference between enterprise BI and
Mm-hmm.
self-serve BI? Do you have any feedback on that?
Yeah, so basically, when we talk about the enterprise BI, we're talking about the entire setup, right? Where we have the maybe a pro or a premium capacity deployed in place. You have a dedicated reporting team, who is responsible for generating those reports for you, right? And they will be publishing those to the pro and premium capacities, right? So it's all like, kind of an organized framework where we have a dedicated team responsible for designing the reports for you. You are the consumer, but you are not developing those reports. That is more into the enterprise side. When we talk about the self BI, or self BI capabilities, here I'm saying that, if you are a layman, you don't have any team, you don't have any setup, you just download this free tool called Power BI Desktop, go and just create your reports, right? and you can publish that to Power BI free account, right? But the only limitation you will see there is you can't collaborate with anyone. You can't share your reports to anyone else. This is for just for you only, for your analysis. For example, maybe I'm running a small shop, right? Okay. And I wanted to see, okay, what is my inventory, what is my sales, what is my profit. So I can do that with the help of free capabilities, right? So here we go. So I think it is back to normal now. I'm into Edge. So I just clicked on the get me quick insights for this particular report, and it generated that. And when I go to the view insights, it shows me various visuals, that is not there in my report. I haven't done those, right? But Power BI built-in, AI capabilities generates these reports for me, isn't it? So that is one of the cool feature, which I see with Power BI. Even if you don't have the reports, if you all have the data sets, that's all, right? You can go and generate the insights and get to see the reports, and then you can plug in those to the dashboards. For example, if I create a quick dashboard called PBI web, right? I'll just pin it there, this one, and maybe this donut chart as well. I'll choose PBI web, you know. And if I go to my workspace and I look for the dashboards, sorry. All right, so if you see here, we have these tiles here, and you can always ask questions here as well, right? So that is a built-in QA functionalities that we have seen in the desktop. So that's pretty much about the Power BI desktop and services, right? And this is how we can utilize that. And you can basically carry out end-to-end reporting lifecycle with the help of this. So that's pretty much about this. So if you guys want to learn about various courses for Power BI and Azure, you can always go to CSS Learning Academy and buy the, or sign up for the required courses, to get to know more details. You can also go to Microsoft for the references, and if you have more questions, you wanna, always, welcome to send an email to training at csslearningacademy.com, and one of them will get in touch with you and, discuss one-on-one, based on your needs. And this is the list of the courses that we offer at CSS Learning Academy. You guys can sign up, based on your choice and interest. Yeah. So that's pretty much, about Power BI and this is all from my side. What to you, Kajal?
Thanks, Nishant. So it looks like we have some questions from the audience.
Mhm.
And again, anybody who wants to ask a question, just pop it into the Q&A chat. And if we don't get to your questions today during this webinar, we'll be sending out a follow-up email to all registered participants. Again, if you want more information, please email us. And then I'm going to put all of our LinkedIn profiles in the chat there. So please add us on LinkedIn as well. We're here to help at any point there. So a couple questions. So talking about the functionalities, how different and advanced is Power BI to Tableau?
Well, that's a very broad question. So there are a lot of things that you can differentiate between Tableau and Power BI, right? So first and foremost is the support to the Azure data sources, right? When it comes to Tableau, right, there is no native support for Azure blob storages, Azure queues, tables, and all that, right? Those connectors are available in the Power BI desktop. That's the first thing. Second thing is when it comes to the write back feature, right? For example, uh, you see some data in the report and you feel that this data is not correct. I should correct this from the report only, right? So when it comes to Power BI desktop or Power Apps platform, the entire Power BI platform, you have an option to do the write back thing. You can correct your data from the report itself, and that can be written, back to the source. But I think in Tableau, this feature is not available. Well, and in terms of the visuals, you have a whole lot of visuals here. But if you don't have a right visual available, you can always go to the app source in the Power BI desktop. You can basically import those apps from the libraries. I'm not sure whether Tableau has that built-in library or not. You can create your own, but I don't think there is an app source kind of thing in Tableau. And lastly, I would say data wrangling operations. Power BI is good at data wrangling. You can do pretty much entire ETL within the desktop. But I think Tableau, they have Tableau data prep, they have capabilities, but not as good as Power BI, I would say. So yeah,
Okay,
that's the answer to this
thanks.
question. Yeah.
Perfect, thanks. How much, like what max data can you import from external sources into Power BI? Is there a max?
Yes, there is a limitation, but there are workarounds for that as well. So for example, if you are running into pro capacity, it gives you 1 GB of data set size limit, but that is the highly compressed data set size utilizing VertiPack algorithm, right? X velocity VertiPack algorithm, that is a columnar indexing mechanism from Microsoft. So for pro, it is 1 GB. For premium, you can go up till 10 GB. But if you have more than that, probably you have terabytes of data, still you can do your reporting with Power BI. You can go for using a direct query or live connections, So data will be at the source, but your reports can talk to those sources and get you the data in the reports. Yeah, so that is, I would say it's not a limitation.
Perfect, that's good to know. Another question is, how can we ensure security for the data that we input? I know that's a big topic nowadays, is to make sure that our data is secure.
Yeah, security is, one of the biggest concern, especially these days, because everyone is working from home and various devices, various networks. So they offer different levels of securities. First is for the data level. So for example, a report has been shared with me. So when I log in with my credentials, I can see my data only, right? When Kajal log into the report with her credentials, she can see her data, right? So that is something we call as the row level security or role-based security. So we can define those filters within Power BI, and we can make it dynamic by connecting that to your organizational email address. That is one piece. Second, we can implement multi-factor authentication. So when someone is trying to log in, they basically have to have credentials plus one-time passcode, right? So there are a couple of ways we can secure your data, and when it comes to Azure, we have a lot more features there, So yeah, so security is not a concern for Power BI.
Okay, great. That's good to know. I know a lot of people are working from home nowadays. Um, what course, or if I'm starting out into this field, what course would you suggest that I would take?
If someone is beginner, probably they should go with the analyzing Excel with the analyzing data with the Excel Power BI. So you can basically get to have the basic understanding how the Power Pivot, Power View, and all that work together. And if you are an intermediate, you can always go with the 778 course that is analyzing data with Power BI. And there are a lot of more courses to it. You can always go to CSS Learning Academy and look for the follow-up courses. Once you're done with these two.
Perfect. Um, Another question that we have from the audience is, what would be a major benefit for a company to go premium versus pro on Power BI?
Right. So I would say it's a pure maths. For example, when I say a costing for a pro, like 9.99 per user, right? If I have 400 users, right? Because 9.9 as the base price, you will have taxes as well, right? So it is going to be eventually 12 point something, including taxes. So it's going to be close to $5,000, right? For 400 users, utilizing pro capacity. And if you talk about the premium capacity, they also have $5,000 a month, right? So if you are spending costing for 400 to 500 users, in one side where you have got some limited capacities, for example, pro license works into shared capacity. They have less workspace size, that is 10 GB for workspace. Dataset size is 1 GB. On the other hand, when you go with the premium, you will have 10 GB of dataset size limit. You have 100 terabytes of space within the workspace, right? You will have increased number of scheduled refresh, that is 48 times a day. That is going to be every half an hour you can basically refresh your report, right? And you are running into the dedicated capacity, meaning that one of the server blades in the Azure data center is going to be dedicated to your subscription, right? And of course, that comes with more support, right? So that is the advantage, like both financially plus support and capacity.
Great, perfect. So what would you say, how does Power BI compare with other reporting tools? I know we touched a little bit about Tableau, but what about some other reporting tools out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite subjective, it depends which reporting tool are we going to compare it with, right? For example, if I talk about maybe Power BI and maybe ClickView or MicroStrategy, So the very first comparison I see is less number of connections, less supported connectors in these tools. No capabilities for data wrangling, data messaging, data cleansing operations. They have, but very limited, not as good as Power BI. You cannot call various built-in codes. Maybe if you have something written in Python, you can execute basically whole lot Python script into it, right? And then I think AI is the advantage, like why people wanted to go with this. So again, like it totally depends from tool to tool, but these are the common pointers for me.
Great, perfect. Thanks, Nishan. So it looks like that's all the questions we have today. Again, if we didn't get to your question, we'll be certainly sending out an email for those registered participants as just a follow-up. And if you do have any questions, please email training@ccslearningacademy.com, and please add us on LinkedIn there. We put it in the chat because we'd love to stay in touch. So when it comes to upskilling and reskilling, CCS Learning Academy is designed to be your organization's secret weapon. Our network of talented and passionate instructors is ready and waiting to work directly with you, your team, or your entire company. As you see here, here are some of our list of our courses that we offer. So if you're new to IT or you're a seasoned professional, we offer a range of courses for your needs. And again, more than welcome to take a snapshot of these courses, take a picture of it, and send us an email. So on behalf of CCS Learning Academy, Nishant, myself, Nick, we thank you for your attention to this important training and hope you learned how to improve and how to transform raw data into actionable business insights using Power BI. Stay safe out there. Thanks. Bye.